Didn't our parents always used to tell us never to play with fire? Well, here we are. It has been a hot minute since I've done steel wool photography. Because, get it? Pun intended, because steel wool is hot. Get it? Anyway, so 2018 was probably my prime time for my steel wool photography. And in front of me here, I have about 7 images that I took that I think personally are my best steel wool images I've ever taken to this day. And all these images were taken on a very relatively inexpensive camera. I'm talking very cheap, you guys. And I got some very good results. Matter of fact, let me show you what those cameras are right now. Alright, really quick, let me run through these. So, this is a Fuji FinePix S8600. This is a very cheap camera. This is probably like my second camera that I ever owned. And I took some of my best images on this camera of all time that I think are my personal favorite, still to this day. And then, I don't know how much these are right now, I haven't checked, but I'm telling you these are relatively very inexpensive. And then I upgraded to the Canon Rebel T6, and this is where I also got some of my favorite images to this day. This camera I got in a bundle, and this was probably around like $500. And then this camera, I'm guessing, was probably around the $100 range or $200 range. Very, very inexpensive. But still, this camera, this Fuji FinePix S8600, I got some of my best steel wool images of all time on. And just give me a moment here, and we're going to run through the 7 images that I think are my personal favorite steel wool images till this day. Alright, really quick side note, you guys. If some of you guys are just getting into photography and are kind of stressed about oh, what kind of gear do you need, or oh, I need expensive gear to take good images. Okay, coming from a very experienced photographer, in the long run, yes, the more expensive equipment that you buy, you're going to get better results, trust me. But, listen up, listen here, because I guarantee you, if you do these things I'm about to say, you will get the best images of your life if you understand your camera and knowledge behind photography, okay? Like I said, these are 2 very, very inexpensive cameras, okay? Especially this Fujifilm FinePix S8600. This was like my second camera, like I said. This was a very cheap camera. I had this camera for so many years. The grip on this camera is so worn out. It's just worn because, whoops, I use it so much. But like I said in the beginning, you do not need an expensive camera to take good photos. I guarantee you that. If you study enough and you study the way your camera works and how photography works, I guarantee you, if you use a cheap camera versus an expensive camera, you will get good images no matter what camera you're using. Whatever you have, use it, and I guarantee you, once you learn everything, all the basics and how to use your camera, you will get good images. Trust me, because I know what it feels like. I've been there and I've done it, and I got some incredible images with a low quality, inexpensive camera. Okay, really quick, I'm going to run through these images and tell you guys the backstory of each one. If you're not interested, you can skip until the next part where I actually explain how to do steel wool photography. Okay, first one. This is probably one of the craziest images I've ever done with steel wool photography. If you guys can see it, if you can't, I'll be putting these up on the screen so you guys can see them better. Okay, this one was actually at the top of one of the tallest towers at the lock. You know, you guys, the lock where like the boats go through. I had the idea in my head to be flinging the steel wool off the tower and then have the longest parts to like catch it when it was dropping down, so it looked really cool. Moments before this picture was actually taken, my friend was concerned that there was a lot of grease and oil up there, and he thought I would potentially start a fire. Thankfully we didn't, but cool photo. In fact, like you guys see, I'll put it up on the screen. This photo is actually all blurry. This was actually shot on the Fujifilm FinePix S8600, and really pushing that camera. It was the middle of the night, but blurry photo, but a really good story behind it. Okay, this is my first time almost starting a forest fire. You guys can see in this image that there is a construction vehicle, almost like an excavator, and there's cones all lined up around the little construction site there. And so me and my friend are out late one night, and I needed his help because I wanted to do this photo. So we did it. We took a couple test shots, and then this photo in particular, I got done doing it, and I heard some like crackling in the background, and come to find out, I look, and I had set a little pile of leaves on fire in the forest behind me. So we were both freaking out, and we had like no water. So we were like scrambling looking for water, and it come to find out that we had like a bottle of water, like that much, like less than a half a bottle of water. So I run down, I jump over the fence, and I run down, and I was stomping the fire out with my feet, and I poured the water on it, and it went out. But it was actually really scary because I thought the whole forest was going to go up in flames. It was the middle of winter, so that kind of helped, but still, there is a little forest fire going on. But thankfully I got it out, and that was pretty scary at the time. Okay, next photo. The Lake George Abandoned Water Park. I thought this would be an amazing image to go do. If you guys can see that, like I said, I'll put them up on the screen. But this was actually a crazy photo. In my head, I had this idea that I wanted to get a steel wool image, flinging it around in the abandoned Lake George Water Park. Have it be like the steel wool on top of the slides, or like have them in the background. And so this photo was actually pretty crazy because it was actually the middle of winter time, like all these images were taken. And the crazy part about this adventure / this photo is that while I was doing it, I don't know if it was before or after, it's probably after I was doing it because I was so excited that I got it. My buddy Mikey, and I had the video footage, my buddy Mikey actually fell into one of the pools and broke through the ice and fell into the water, and we had to pull him out and like help him get warm because it was like freezing cold outside. So let me insert that video footage really quick right now. Yo, Mike fell. He was walking, bro, right there, and he walked right into the pool, bro. Dude, that sucked. This is another crazy adventure, bro. Holy. Okay, moving on. This was actually taken. I have two at the same location in the same time frame, but this is probably my favorite image of all time. I love this image. I was surrounded by fire, and this was an absolutely incredible image. This was also taken on the Fujifilm FinePix S8600. Okay, that one was wild. It was just a bridge shot. It was centered. It was focused. Everything was perfect about that photo. I absolutely love that photo. I love that photo so much. It's one of my favorites. Okay, this other one, same location, same time. This was actually taken in an abandoned hut. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can. But I was flinging around the steel wall in this abandoned hut, right? And the way this abandoned hut is set up is that there's two windows on each side, and then in the back of the hut there's like a door, right? And then there's like a 3 or 4 inch, maybe less, like a little curb right in the back door. There's like a door right here that's like, you guys can see in the background. I was flinging the steel wool around, and I wasn't even paying attention, and I was walking back doing it, and all of a sudden I tripped on the curb of this building, and I literally almost fell backwards. And mind you, this little hut was probably like 10 or 12 feet off the ground, and underneath it was a pond, and it was frozen over, or maybe a little frozen over. But if I did fall, I would have fallen out on my head backwards and landed in this pond covered in ice. It would not have been good. But I caught myself on the side of the building, and I was hanging on for dear life, and I was able to pull myself back. And that's the story behind that photo. The time I almost died doing still wool photography. Alright, these two images, again, these were both taken at different times, but this one I'm about to show you, both of these actually, my all-time favorite, okay? There's not really much to say behind these, is that all these images is that I wanted to do the steel wool on top of a crazy excavator, or like, what do you want to call it, a dump truck or something like that. And there's two in town that I got to do. I'll show you guys this one right here as well, but both of the same concept. Two very, very epic images that I got. No crazy stories behind them, but just some fantastic images of me doing steel wool on top of these tractors. There's fire, there's steel wool flying everywhere. In this first image right here, there's a shopping center and a little plaza across the street. People are probably like freaking out and wondering what I was doing. It was like the middle of the night, so it was really late. But those two images are absolutely epic. I've printed these really big, especially the one I just showed you guys, and the other one as well. Just crazy steel wool images, just fire flying everywhere. It was wild. So those are my 7 images, my backstories of probably my 7 craziest steel wool moments of all time.